Welcome back. Happy New Year, everybody. Well, I've had a little break, which has done me the world of good. Needed, much needed break. I think we all have needed a break, right? So I hope you have given yourself that time as well to recharge from 2020 to recharge and yeah, feel ready for this year, for this new year and what it's going to bring us. I'm feeling recharged. I'm feeling ready to really go for it this year. And last year was such a big year for everyone, wasn't it? It was such a big year, and I feel like we've experienced so much and gone through so much that nothing is really going to stand in our way anymore. Last year really showed us like how delicate life is and how change is just a constant. Yeah, whatever's happening externally is just really out of our control, isn't it? It's really out of our control. And, you know, because of that, it brings everything back to us. It brings everything back to us more than ever. This necessity to, I guess, affirm to yourself, if I can't control what's happening out there in the world, I'm going to make sure that I make the very best of the things that I can control and that I don't hold back with my gifts anymore and that I don't feel suppressed by my fears anymore. I don't allow those things to hold me back anymore. And instead, I fully show up. Like, why wouldn't you do that now in 2021? Give yourself permission, guys. Give yourself permission to fully show up because there's no judgment here. Like, no one is judging you. And what you have to share as a yoga teacher is positive. Sharing your story and your journey is going to help to heal other people. And that's why we're here, right? So we've got to be prepared now to just go for it this year, to really rise up, to find our voice and our power, and really just to own it. Own it, yeah? 2020 was that year of change and growth and learning, and I'm sure all of you here have had your own realizations and epiphanies, whatever's been coming up for you. I feel like we've all been going through our own journeys of transformation from last year, yeah, and probably still going through it now and feeling it now, and lots of things coming up. Certainly for me, I've been having lots of things coming up. And so, we've experienced this year of radical change, yeah, where we've had to face new challenges that we've never had to face before. And so 2021, is a chance to use all of that experience now to do things differently. Like, that's definitely how I'm approaching it. So it's a real chance to just show up in a different way. Like, this is a new world that we're in right now. I went to Tesco's earlier and they have a traffic light system outside the door, a green light and a red light. And so you have to stand there for the traffic lights to change. I was like, wow, things are changing. Even just simple things like that. It's a new world with new rules and new behaviors and new beliefs. And so my best advice to you right now is to give yourself permission to show up, to fully show up. It's really a powerful message that's coming through for me right now. Yeah, and it excites me because after going what we've gone through, we can't be sitting here today and feel like we're the same person that we were this time last year, because we're not, are we? We're not. So this is what all of your yoga training has been for. Yeah, there's a lot of impact that we need to create right now in the world, a lot of impact, and you guys here are here to create it. Like, this is what you're being called for right now. So it's exciting. It's exciting, but it does mean that we need to let go of a lot of stuff. Yeah, it means that we need to leave all of that stuff in 2020 and to shed layers and just really look at who we are right now. Who are we right now, and who do we need to be in this new world with new rules? And if your purpose is to heal people, is to help people to heal, okay, how are you going to do that? How are you really going to do that now? How are you really going to do that now? How are you going to show up and do that? Is a Zoom class going to create the impact that you really want to create? Probably not. Yeah. So we really need to show up differently and to, shed this identity of yoga teacher and to really step into this new identity of a healer or a guide or a mentor or a coach, someone who's really showing up in the world to make a big difference. And I know that's what all of you guys want. You want to make impact and to really support people, like to truly support people on their journey of transformation. Yeah, how are you going to do that? How are you really going to do that? And who do you need to be to do that? Okay, so setting the scene as always, but I guess that's one kind of major reflection that I've shared with you already, and how you can use that growth and learning as you move into 2021. But today I want to share with you my key reflections with you guys related to my own business from last year. And I've got three to share. I've got three reflections to share. And the first is around energy. And specifically, when I say energy, I mean the energetic decisions that you make in your business related to the outcomes that you want. Okay, so an outcome could be something like, the amount of money that you want to make from a course launch, or an outcome could be the number of people that you want to join your free yoga challenge, or the number of enrollments you get in your membership. Okay, so for me, at the start of 2020, there was one thing that I held to be true, and it was that I decided that my business is thriving. So even before the pandemic, before all of the things that happened last year, at the start of 2020, I decided that this was going to be my best year. And I decided it and brought a different energy to that decision. And I'll talk more about that in a moment. But it was really about embodying it as being true and then taking the actions to make sure that it's true, okay? Because words and thoughts aren't enough, right? We also need to take action on those words and thoughts. However, words, thoughts, and decisions have energy attached to them. What tends to happen in our business, especially in the beginning, lots of things come up for us in the beginning when we're first starting out in business. We have fears that we're not good enough, and we have fears that it might not work, or we have imposter syndrome, and we get overwhelmed and we get frustrated and we procrastinate. All of these things, that come up in the entrepreneurial journey. And these things, they stop us from moving forward. And you can't be there for your community. You can't be there for your students if all your energy is being used up with these fears and this overwhelm and procrastination. If you're giving energy to those things, you can't be there for your community and show up fully. When we become attached to an outcome, okay, so I talked through what those outcomes could be. When we become attached to that outcome and we are attached to fear and resistance, energetically, what we're doing is we're putting up a barrier. Yeah, we're putting up a barrier, and we're putting a cap on what's possible. But when you approach your business without that attachment, when we let go of that and instead we put our energy into serving our community, things change. Things change. What's essential in that is making a decision, okay? Because when we make a decision that this is happening for us, those fears and resistance, we can park them to the side because we're no longer giving them the energy. Yeah, because we trust that our success is happening. Like, you trust that it's coming. You trust in the possibilities. It's about the decision you make and the energy behind that decision. It really, really is. It really is. When I think about my own experience, when I've been attached to the outcome, i.e., I've put it out there, I've said, I want to have 100 students in my program, and I fear that I'm not going to get that result. Yeah, there's a fear. I still have this fear that that won't happen. What happens is my decision around 100 students, it's almost like it's got this kind of desperate energy attached to it, because it's like I'm forcing it, or it's got like this needy energy attached to it, like I have to get it, and I've got this fear that it's not going to happen. So I'm kind of driven by the fear, and I'm more kind of desperate to get the results. And because of that, the results feel like a struggle because I'm forcing it. Yeah, I'm forcing it because I'm still attached to a fear that it's not going to happen. So I might be saying one thing, I want 100 students, that's my goal. But if I'm still attached to that fear that it's not going to happen, the energy that I'm bringing to this outcome is different. So it's really about letting go and not attaching to fears anymore. And if you were here at the beginning, at the start, what did I say? We have to let go. We have to shed these things. We can't be that person anymore. If there's anything that 2020 has taught us, is that we have to come into this new year in a different way, and not giving energy to fears. Yeah, making a decision that that's not us anymore. That's not part of our story anymore, because we're fully showing up, and we're fully showing up in a different way. When I let go of that fear and I trusted that it was coming, and I decided that it was coming, like I fully believed it, the results were easy. The results came with ease because I was bringing in this different energy, this energy that I'd already decided this was happening. And that energy last year resulted in my first six-figure launch in August. Yeah, I generated for the Profitable Yoga Teacher 130K. I mean, you guys have heard this already. I did share my story on that last year. If I can do it, you can do it. Yeah, like I haven't got some like crazy superpower that allows me to do that. It's really about understanding how you are showing up. And, you know, it's a process and it's a journey, isn't it? It is, you know, it's like we have to go through these things to have these realizations. But what I will say to you is that any time that we have any gap in our skill or in our competency of doing something, we can fill that gap by learning. Yeah, everything that we need to know is available to us. Like we can learn how to grow our community. We can learn about marketing. Yeah, we can learn what it takes to launch successfully. You need to know that it's possible for you. Like I want you to believe that and to be in that energy of having already decided that it's possible for you. That really was the biggest difference for me last year. Yeah, I made that decision that that was happening. I made that decision, I took action for it to happen. And you know what? I wrote it down every day. I said it every single day. This is happening. This launch, there's 100 students coming into this launch. I'd already decided it was happening. So it wasn't any kind of super duper strategy that I was using for the first time, or, you know, I did something in a different way. It was really the mindset. It was the energy. It was letting go of the fears and the doubts and the resistance. That's what I did differently. And, you know, I really believe that we need to stop giving ourselves extra stuff to deal with, extra crap to deal with, because we've got enough stuff going on to deal with. So, you know, I think there's a lot of stuff that we give ourselves that sucks up our energy. And, you know, if you decide, or if we decide that we want to give ourselves that extra stuff, then guess what? It's going to suck up our energy. But if we decide that we're not doing that anymore, it's going to be an easier journey. Like we make the rules and the decisions. So I think that's the biggest kind of reflection. When I look back at how I showed up last year, that was it. It was the energy and deciding to let go of the fears and the overwhelm and the stories that I tell myself. So letting go essentially is what I'm talking about here. Letting go of the fear and the resistance, and by letting go and being really attached to it in that way, by being attached to that fear and resistance, it allows us to show up in a different way and to bring different energy to it. it also relates to the identity that you have. Like, what is your identity? Embodying a different identity. So, I decided that I was going to embody this energy of the CEO. Yeah. Who do I need to be in order to do that? That CEO is not being held back by her own fears. Yeah. Fears and stories and beliefs that she tells herself. Because that CEO, those stories no longer apply because we ain't got time for that. Yeah. Saying I'm not good enough or someone else is doing it better than me, like we've all been there, but we don't have to be there. When we make a decision and step into that new energy of the person that we want to be, we don't have to be there anymore. So that's the first reflection. It's really the new energy that I brought into 2020 and the impact that it had. So the second reflection is about adaptability. I think this applies to all of us. Like, we've all had to adapt and make changes in our business. And it's something that I really admired so much with all of you guys has been your ability to adapt so quickly. Like, yoga teachers all around the world made a very quick transition online. Yeah. And it's funny really because we've been talking about teaching online for some time now, and prior to 2020, I was hearing all sorts of things from teachers, saying it's too difficult, or my students don't want to practice online, or the technology's too hard, or I feel uncomfortable on video, all of those fears and, reasons why teachers weren't going online. And all of that quickly went out the window, didn't it? And we saw the world's yoga teachers online. And what we need to realize here is that most of the world, or 60% of the world, are online right now. 60% of the world's population are online. And another stat from Yoga Alliance, it was a survey that Yoga Alliance did in the US in 2016. And they're supposed to do this every 4 years. So they should have done one in 2020. Whether they did or not, who knows? But one of the questions that they asked in that survey, they asked, where do you currently practice yoga? And the top result, so 65% of people responded at home. They practice at home. Okay. So that was in the US. And, I wonder what it looks like for the rest of the world. But what we can say here is that, not everyone has a yoga studio on their doorstep, and not everyone can afford a yoga student membership. So the opportunity for teaching online has been there for a while. So I think in a way, and it's always good to find gratitude, right? But we should bring some gratitude to 2020 for that kick up the butt that it gave us all to finally get our classes and our offerings online. And I'm not saying that hasn't brought challenges with it. It certainly has. Okay, it's brought challenges with it, of course, because change brings new behaviors, brings new ways of doing things. But adaptability has really been a big theme, okay, for all of you guys. You've done it. I've had to do it. I've had to change, pivot, adapt things, make changes quickly. And it really meant for me last year, it meant listening. There was a lot of listening that I was doing in this group and, with my students, with you guys, listening to my community and responding quickly. And that requires adaptability. So I definitely feel, when I look back on last year, I definitely feel that was a big win for me, like my ability to adapt in 2020. I created new programs, pulled them out the bag really quickly so that I could serve you guys and give you guys the training and the resource and the support that you needed to be able to get your offerings online quickly. Yeah, so there was a lot that came from that in terms of really making changes quickly and taking action. I did a lot of live programs. So we did 4 live programs. We did the Super Yogi, the Online Yogi, the Niche one, and the Yoga Challenge Launchpad in December. You know, those live programs, I've not really done anything like that in the past. So it was really about listening and responding. And I feel like you guys have been doing that as well. Like you've had to really do that because with everybody, with studios being closed and, you know, the only choice really was that people would practice online unless they're just doing their own practice at home. It came with it with different behaviors, didn't it? It came with it different behaviors, different challenges, and you guys have had to adapt to all of that, which is amazing. It's really amazing. The other big lesson for me, or big reflection for me, and realization, I guess, has been in relation to investment. Okay, so last year was a major year for me in terms of the investment that I made in my business. I invested in a team to support me. I grew the team last year and took more people on to support me in various areas of the business. And I also invested in business coaches. Okay, so I've worked with coaches and mentors before, but never to the level that I did last year. Yeah, because I made more money in my business, I was able to invest in higher level coaches last year, which has been incredible. It's been incredible. And it's meant that, you know, what I'm learning from higher level coaches, I'm able to share with you guys, which is amazing for you guys as well. But I'm able to bring that learning into my own programs as well and pass that knowledge on. And last year, I spent the most I've ever spent on coaching. So I spent like about 15,000 on one-to-one coach. I also joined my first mastermind. So I joined my first high-level mastermind, who are all like 6-figure founders. And that cost 10 grand to be in that as well. So having that support, especially during a year which has brought with it so much uncertainty and like new ways of doing things, it really required me to show up in a different way, yeah, for you guys, because you had different needs and I needed to be able to support you with that as well, but also to believe in my capacity and to bring that energy forward, that I talked about already, like that energy of deciding that success was a given, that it was already happening for me. And whilst having that support, I had the 6-figure launch in August that I've talked about. So I could see the direct correlation between investing in support, which means that I'm giving money to other people, yeah, to coaches, and I'm giving money to my team to support me, and receiving money from my community for the courses and programs that I was delivering to support them. Okay, so it's a direct correlation between giving and receiving, and it's this flow of money in and out of my business, you know, making an investment and receiving income. And maybe this feels, you know, maybe it feels like a huge investment. I actually invested more at the end of last year into another year-long mastermind, which has started this week. And so it probably feels like a lot of money, and maybe you might even be feeling triggered by these numbers. I'm not saying you have to spend that amount of money. You have to look at where you are in your business journey and commit to making the right investment to you. Like that might be an online course for you right now, or maybe it's trying to find money from somewhere to invest in support that you need. In the first year of my business, I did get support from a business coach. Not as much as I invested last year, but I did get support and I found a way to do it because I know that every time I do this, it comes back in abundance. Yeah, it comes back in abundance. And last year was the biggest investment that I've made in support. But financially, 2020 was also my best year financially. You know, we brought in close to 300k last year, which is incredible. It's incredible. And that could not have happened without the right energy, yeah, without being adaptable and without investing in myself. And so they're really the three key reflections or kind of biggest learnings for me personally in 2020. And they're also, three essentials that I encourage you to focus on. They're definitely those things I'm definitely bringing into this year and, escalating it even more, making more of it. Like the energy that you bring, like, are you bringing a CEO, Yogipreneur energy into your business? Or is it the energy of a yoga teacher who's scared to share her voice? Yeah, what is it? What is the energy that you're bringing this year, guys? Because you have to be visible right now. You have to be visible. You have to be adaptable. And you really need to own what you are offering out into the world. You need to own it and be 100% sold in what you have to offer. Because if there's anything that I want you to do this year is I want you to make offers. Make offers. Listen to what your community wants and respond to it. Create offerings and sell them. Yeah, go beyond the Zoom room. Go beyond Zoom and create offerings and sell. Make the offer. Like, you can't make money unless you make the offer, unless you sell and promote what you're offering. Yeah, you can't make money without doing that. So get into this headspace of creating and sharing, creating and sharing. Make the offer. Tell people what it is that you have to share. Tell people what it is that you have to give. Show people the transformation that they're going to get when they work with you, as their guide, you as their yoga coach, yeah, you as their mentor. Because really right now, there's so much transformation that people need in their lives. Like, everyone's been through a shit show. Yeah, let's just put it out on the table. Everyone has been through a shit show. And so, gosh, there's just so much I want to say. But like, there's so much healing for you to support people with. Yeah, there's so much that you can support people with to help them and heal them. Yeah, and to help people through all of the traumas that they've been through in their lives, which are coming up for everyone right now. So create offerings that are going to support people to do that. And that isn't you just focusing on your weekly Zoom class schedule. It isn't. It's more than that. It's online courses, it's memberships, it's really supporting people. Deeply supporting people, guiding, coaching them. That's the identity that you want to be moving into now in 2021. But it requires you to listen and respond, create and share. Offer people things, show the transformation that you can provide to someone in these incredible offerings that you're going to be putting together, that you're going to be creating for people. Show people why they want to invest in that, because they want that transformation that you're promising. That's why people are going to invest in your online course. So it's this big shift now from being the yoga teacher that's got the weekly Zoom schedule that you did last year to really creating offerings that are going to support people to bring real transformation in their lives. Yeah, there's a lot of trauma that needs to be healed in this world right now. And now is your call to do something with that. Yeah, that is what all this training that you've been going through, that's what it's for now. This here, right now. Okay. Invest in your knowledge, guys. It's the final thing, okay? Invest in your knowledge. Get a good mentor. Be in this community. Show up. Ask questions. Get the support that you need in this group. I am here for you. We're doing something exciting. Can anyone else feel this excitement? I just feel like I've got a lot of excitement in my belly, in my solar plexus. It's like buzzing right now. It really is. I feel like there's just this like, oh, because I just feel like we've got something magical to do this year. Keep showing up for you. Show up for you this year. All right. Love you all. See you soon. Okay. Bye, guys. Bye bye. See you soon.